everyone. Welcome to Talk to Us Today. I'm Namita.
And I'm Simrit. And today's episode is a treat for all readers and book lovers. And if you're anything like me, you're always looking for a good recommendation. And if it's something completely offbeat, that's even better.
Yes, and today's episode is a part of our ongoing series called Review Therapy. This is where we review books, of course, but sometimes movies, series, or new places we think you should visit, which we like.
So today we're reviewing a book which both of us have read for our book club. Killers of the Flower Moon. Can you guys see this? I don't know if it's opposite, Namita. Killers of the Flower Moon. Oil, Money, Murder, and the Birth of FBI. This is written by an American journalist, David Grann. It's a nonfiction book, and I have to be honest, I love fiction books. I dab in very little nonfiction, but it was recommended by a member of our book club who is from Oklahoma, which is where this book is based out of. It's about the Osage Nation, which is a Native American tribe. I hope that's politically correct, belonging to areas around Oklahoma. And I am so glad we picked this book up.
I mean, me too. Amazing book. It's such a
Right?
fascinating, yeah, it is such a fascinating account of Osage people and a complete eye opener for me. And it's a true account of how greed and meticulous planning resulted in murders of at least 60 Osage members. Although the unofficial account states hundreds of murders. This
Can you
is,
imagine?
yeah, and it's a true crime story. Also, it tells us about the origin of FBI by J. Edgar Hoover, and it is a sad story which needs to be told. I honestly feel that. I
I agree.
just couldn't put it down, and it didn't feel like a non-fiction because there is so much going on in this book. If you read,
Right. Absolutely. So let's give a little introduction about this. The Osage tribe was the richest per capita people in the world in the 1920s. Let me repeat that. This is a North American First Nations or Native American people who was, sorry, the richest per capita people in the 1920s. That's mind blowing considering what we know today of the Native American people. So they lived on a reservation which had oil. So because of the head rights and the royalties from the oil, they were like the richest in the world. I grew up in Canada, and I know about the atrocities that the natives have faced in North America. But it doesn't tell you about this, how rich they were at one point.
yes,
And as
that is what was more surprising for me. Natives, I used to
absolutely
think natives like any natives, right? But they were so
right.
rich, like crazy rich.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
I mean, you have to understand that this was probably by accident because they gave them some land to make the reservation and they found oil on it. But then after that, now the white people realized that they've made a mistake and the aboriginals there are getting rich. It was so, like, for them, especially in Oklahoma, it was such that per one Osage member, they had an average of 11 cars in the 1920s, and the rest of us had one car per 11 people on average. So this, and then many of them had white servants. Of course, they had Mexicans and other Black servants. So this shows the social order of the area at the time. It's mentioned that in
I remember the fact where if the tire is flat, they would just change the car.
yes, and then, but those things were held against them. Whereas if you see even billionaires today, you've heard these stories, you've heard of it in shakes, but these things were held against them. So it became to the point where because they would do that, they would pass a law saying, oh, they don't know how to manage their money, they're being wasteful. So the guardianship should be taken by the white people. Now, that's unfair.
Okay.
Because I mean, they realized how much money was out there. So through this was all done through manipulation and fraud, just so the white people could take over the wealth.
Yeah, completely mind-blowing facts. So the
Absolutely.
I know. So the book revolves around a family of three sisters, Molly, Anna, and Minnie. And the book starts with the murder of Anna, and slowly other members of her family start dying. Some in in mysterious ways, which was found out later. And her mother Lizzie died of mysterious wasting disease
Can
during
you
a
imagine?
yeah, and this during a period of 2 years, like 18 full-blooded Osage people die, murdered or otherwise, and most of their wealth and inheritance is taken over by the guardians, who were mostly local white lawyers and businessmen. And
Right.
Molly was the only surviving member of her family, and she had become quite wealthy because she had inherited so much wealth from her deceased family members. And she was married to a white man, Ernest Burkhardt, and Ernest and his uncle, William Hale, which is a very big character in the story, who was a very prominent and liked white man close to the Osage tribe members, during those times. And he seemed to be some sort of protector of Osage people. That is how it had started.
So this is the funny thing. This or William Hale comes from Texas, I think, and he moves to Oklahoma, and he realizes that these people are rich, and he's a wheeler dealer. Then he gets his nephews there, and they slowly become like the trustee member of like the non Osage, but trustee. So he gets his nephews married into the tribe, and I mean, we don't want to give away too much because we want you to read this, but it during the period between, I mean, so he plays a big character, and you guys kind of know where this is headed because this is a review, so you get it. But during the period between 1920 to 26, it was known as the Reign of Terror for the Osage. And they were not just unsolved murders of the Osage full-blooded tribe members, but even white people or other colors who were trying to help them. So people who were trying to solve these murders, they would get killed like murdered. Literally.
Yeah.
The conspiracy was very high up, and many people in high positions of power helped cover up these murders, or and were also party to the murders. The book describes the period as one of great fear for the Osage people. So, Namita, remember, like there's parts where they put lights all over their areas, like their colonies, their reservation or whatever, because outside their houses, because they don't know what's killing all the members. They know something is wrong, but they had no voice because nobody was listening to them. And it was very scary. They knew something was going on, but they didn't know how to prevent it.
How to protect themselves, how to find out, because they felt very helpless, being wealthy and still helpless.
Yeah.
That's a very I am a very emotional person. When I was reading it, I was getting these goosebumps. Oh my God, is this true? Is this all true?
How can
Or
this happen? Right?
this
We
is
we
really
were
happening?
outraged. We were
Exactly.
outraged.
Yeah. Amazing. No, I mean this really is shocking though. So
Right.
further on, the Bureau of Investigation was called in by the tribe leaders when this whole thing were going on. And this was the agency prior to FBI being established. So man by
Right.
the name Tom White led an investigation of
Tom
this,
White. Yeah.
yeah, of the murders that were happening. And he was handpicked by the J. Edgar Hoover, the first director of the FBI. So it
Right.
took him a little over a year to find the main men responsible for the murders. The book is fascinating account of this sad period in American history. Very sad period.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I'd heard of J. Edgar Hoover, and I hadn't realized he was the first director of FBI. He's the founder. I mean, he has a lot of um, history, doesn't write him always well, but he was responsible for setting up the bureau. And this American journalist, David Grann, has written this so well that you don't you feel involved in the story. It's not just a historical count of A, B, C, D. I've already recommended this book to so many people who have any interest in history or learning more about the history of Aboriginal people in North America. So US, Canada, I mean, it's very eye-opening. For me, this book was a 5-star. It's well-written, well-researched book with great writing, sad story of human greed, racism, corruption, and injustice. Like I said, me and Namita were outraged. In fact, our whole book club was outraged. This happened not so long ago, right? About 100 years
Yeah.
ago. And US, we all see as this land of opportunity. And these people, I mean, of course, we're wrong. We know this. We're educated enough to know that there are bad people everywhere and there are good people everywhere. But it was really surprising. It pains me to see the depth of ugliness, which I guess humans are capable of, just to feed their own unending hunger of money, power. I mean, these can be great things if utilized well, but they also lead to a lot of our dark underbelly, which we don't realize.
Yeah.
It should be a compulsory read to understand human psychology, in my mind. I mean, this is just me, layperson out there.
Absolutely. No, I agree. I agree. And as sad it is a must read to understand how low one can go. So as a book, two thumbs ups from me as well. And the book is mentioned in our description. Simrit and me both recommend it highly.
Yeah.
Go for it. Yeah.
So the last look, and we're going to put up some pictures for you guys to see because they have actual photographs in it. It's amazing. That's all on Talk to Us today for review therapy. So definitely, we have been reviewing books, and last time we reviewed a series. But if there's something you guys want us to review out there or what you think of it, please drop us an email at hello@talktoustoday.com because it'll help us decide what to review. I heard from many of you that you liked the book reviews. So I'm always ready for that. But anything else you want reviewed, please let us know. Also, next week, we're going to be doing our Christmas special. So send us little clips or videos or thoughts on how you celebrate Christmas in your home. And we're going to put up what we in India, most of us do with our children for Christmas, or even without our children. Just what we do, because I mean, it's how we culturally celebrate. That's going to be our discussion for next week. So please send us a mail, send us messages, send us whatever. We're always looking forward to hearing from you guys.
Yes, always looking forward. And we're glad that you are sending us emails and you are giving us feedback, how we should go further on with what all we should add, what all we should, further review. So it's amazing. Thank you so much, everyone.
And don't forget to hit the subscribe button and hit the bell to stay notified of our new videos every Friday at 6 p.m.
Thanks for joining us on Talk to Us today. Remember to talk
to us today. Keep smiling.
Keep laughing.
Keep reading and keep talking.
Yeah.
Bye. See you guys next week.